Good afternoon, class. The subject I will be speaking to you about today is what are the contributing factors to the mental health cases in our colleges today, in particular, people in the adolescent stage. There is an overall current general trend toward mental illness in our society and in college students in particular, such as the girl shown in here. Depression rates are worldwide and increasing. This trend is so significant that some call it the age of anxiety. It is not surprising that older adolescents in college may feel overwhelmed and are at risk of mental illness on college campuses. The most common mental health issue that college students deal with is anxiety disorders. Approximately 11.9 suffer from them. Altogether, college students are showing greater levels of stress, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and poor sleep patterns that are at any other time in our nation and continue to get worse on an increase. One of the main causes of this deterioration in mental health is the rapid evolution of technology, resulting in information overload for the mind. The emergence of the internet, smartphone, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media technologies have altered the ways we relate. On one hand, this hyper-connected world provides more information. On the other hand, it offers an endless array of choices and information that overwhelms us and confuses us. In fact, having more choices leads to more anxiety, according to psychological research. Social media leads people to compare up, meaning they only compare themselves to those they believe are doing better than they are. It's a constant comparison game, which is bad for mental health. Exposure to other individuals that are more attractive or more wealthy results in social comparison and feelings of inferiority. Misinformation and information that can be very disturbing, such as news about possible threats, such as global warming, are also not good for our mental health. Spending so much time on the computer ultimately alters our socialization in person and decreases our time spent in the natural world. Another source of stress is the breakdown in the traditional family structure and the significant rise in divorce rates. Therefore, some of these teens may have lacked a stable, loving, secure, predictable structure. Problems stem from the lack of structure, a secure base. Students raised in two-parent families may have had an overindulgent, overprotective parents who have shielded their children from negative feelings and consequences, leaving them without general resiliency skills, coping skills to face the world and its many challenges. Unfortunately, some of these adolescents are lost because of the emergence of science that has replaced religion's central place in society. Young adults who lack grounding and a moral perspective are now more vulnerable to mental ailments of anxiety and depression, as said before, and rely on medication to ease their suffering and problems like antidepressants. Also, to help these youth, an additional period of development between young adolescents and young adults has been added for them to gain maturity and time to adjust. The term emerging adulthood, created in the 1990s, applies to these in-between stage. As a consequence of the above mentioned, Generation Me and you will undoubtedly experience more serious health consequences. As well, more than ever, students face intense academic pressure to succeed. The school system has not helped as the marks have been inflated at the high school level. Added to this pressure is financial stress because of the added burden of accumulating high debt from college tuition and other costs, facing a future anxiety-ridden with a portion of income toward paying rent, leaving it difficult to repay loans or build sizable savings, such as what this girl is suffering from here today. Ill health with depression, anxiety, and fatigue are often the result of high financial stress. To add to this challenge, job prospects are worse for emerging adults than they have been for a long time. The materialistic world we also live in also compounds their worries. More students have access to college today than in the past. With accessibility, more individuals with medical and mental health problems attend and need even more support. There also has been a major shift in gender ratios of students, with more women who are more open. despite the stigma that still exists, of being a man. Consequently, the college counseling centers are currently overloaded. As we move forward, I recommend that you lessen your use of social media because it is bad for your mental health. As a follower, looking at your life with a critical lens will fuel anxiety and depression because people have a tendency to compare themselves to those they believe they are doing better than they are. Thank you for your time. Now, let's watch the rest of this visualizer.
Get Andre to speak to him since his negative feelings weren't going away.
I didn't want to speak to our head of year, but I also didn't want to keep feeling so down, so I went. He said that sometimes we have overwhelming feelings that can be more intense than our everyday feelings. These feelings hang around for a long time and change the way we feel, think, and behave. They can stop us doing what we want to in life. That's what I was going through. He also said that if we're physically unwell, we let people know, we ask for help. It should be no different with mental health. Sometimes our overwhelming feelings are brought on because of things in our life. Sometimes they happen for no reason at all. After hearing this, I felt much less alone and it felt good to talk. Scientists have found exercise can help when you're feeling low, so our head of year encouraged me to sign up to the school football club, which Sasha was already in. I still have days when the river is there, but now I'm beginning to understand my mental health
Being a
and
part of
learning
that
how to
outdoor
cope.
world.
Our head of year reminded me that my friends, family, teachers, and lots of others at school are there to help just as much as he is. I had no idea the people around me could be so understanding. And while it's not always easy to talk about my mental health, the person I'm talking to might be able to help. If you don't feel like talking, that's fine. You could try writing, sports, reading, art, music, playing with your pet, whatever makes you feel better.
If you're the person someone talks to when they're struggling, just listen with no pressure or judgment. You don't have to have the answer. If you feel unsure about anything, you can speak to a trusted adult. Talking about mental health doesn't have to be difficult. After all, it's something we all have.
Thank you again for listening and your time. Have a good day.